Hey guys and gals, welcome to, I think, the third edition of our new series called Watching Deer Antlers Grow. We've got 4 bucks that we've introduced you to, and we're going to watch their antlers grow throughout the summer. And I think this is the 3rd week. It might be 4, but I think it's only the 3rd week. You remember the deer's names? We've got Cyclops, that's right. We've got Whitey, and we've got Bazooka and Bubba. We're going to look at all 3 of them, and we have a treat for you this week. We have a baby deer that's been born, a little baby doe. It's the only one we have so far. And we've got 19 does in the pen, but we only got 1 baby deer so far. So we'll probably end up with about, I don't know, maybe 25 or 30. But anyway, that's what we've got right now. And that's if those bucks did their jobs like I would have done. But I think they probably did. But we're gonna go in here in a minute. We're gonna start looking at. We're gonna look at the brothers, Bazooka and Whitey. Whitey, of course, was out all year in the fall, out in the wild, breeding wild deer. And then we put him back. We lured him back in with some foods back in so he could have all the demand food that he wanted and get his weight built up back up after the rut. So let's run in the pens and let's take a look at that little baby fawn right off the bat. She was born about 4 days ago, so she's like 4 or 5 days old. She'll be laying down and be real cautious and watch us, but we probably cannot touch her. She'll probably take off running. We'll get in there and see. I've waited till late in the evening. I might run out of daylight here before I get this thing done. I waited till late in the evening because it got pretty warm today, and I wanted to make sure that we didn't run these deer too hard in 90-degree weather. And so let's go ahead and take a look at watching deer antlers grow. Okay, if you will look right over there, you will see the little fawn, and see the way it is. It's got his head down. It's hiding there. And we intended to use blue tags this year, but we didn't have the backings, and so we actually had to go get a yellow tag and put on this little guy. Is that cute? Is that cute? You see, it didn't let me get very close at all. Did not let me get very close at all. And I'm not going to make it run very much. There's his mama going to come over and check it out. His mama come over and make sure I didn't hurt it. Look at that. Is that precious or is that precious? Looky there. Oh, I don't care what you say. That is just a doll. That's just darling. It's amazing she didn't have twins. And there she is, the little baby, the first doe of the year. I'm going to kind of ease on off over that way. We'll look at it real quick. We'll see if we can get in there. As I'm walking, I know it's lousy video, guys, but I've got it zoomed in there a lot because I want to get in as close to that deer as possible. Now, she is wild as she can be. Not used to people at all. I've only got 3 does in this pen, but you can see how tiny the little rascal is. Look how big that doe is. That is a giant. Look at her belly. Oh my goodness. She had a big belly before the rut. So I don't know what she's going to have. But look at the little baby. That is just so precious. She's not going to let me get too awful close. Look at her run. Look at her run. Oh, I just love them. Oh, I just love them. Look at her. Oh, we see her lay down. Her mama told her to lay down. She's hiding. She's hiding behind that piece of wood. Did you see that? She almost totally disappeared behind that piece of wood. Now, I could probably get up relatively, oh no, I can't get up relatively close at all. We don't want to run her into the fence or anything, where she might get cut. She says, what am I supposed to do, Mom? They get pretty fast in a hurry. It'd be almost impossible to catch that deer right now. Almost impossible to catch that deer and doctor it and tag it. Almost impossible. There's the first baby of 2021. Okay, all right. What we have over here is only 2 bucks in this pen. They're brothers. And this is Whitey. This is Bazooka. We showed you the antlers. If you want to go back and look at the video from last week, we showed you their antler sheds from this past year. And you can see what they've added this week. They're dramatic what they've added. These deer are probably both going to be 200 score. And for those of you, I had some people ask, particularly some ladies, ask about, what are you talking about when you're talking about 180 or 200? That's inches of horns. And the way you measure that, and we'll do a little deal and talk about measuring horns, but the way you measure that is once their horns are hard in the fall, you take a tape measure and you measure the length of each tine, each individual antler, like a 12.5 on each side. You measure the length of those. You measure the length of the main beam, which is one that goes around that all of them are growing off of. And you measure circumference of each one of those also. And then you measure the width in between the two beams. And it adds up to a total score. And like 150 score deer is a trophy whitetail buck. Now these two right here, you can see what they've added on. You see what they've added on since last week. Very, 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 very impressive. And you see the deer on the left, and I'll be honest with you, I don't know which is which. But those, that's Bazooka and Whitey. Whitey was the one that was out of the pen all during the fall and got to breed in a while. But you can see that I'm up pretty close to those deer. Now I'm gonna go ahead and zoom in. I'm only on 1 power here. I'm gonna go ahead and zoom in. You can get a really good look. And those of you that wanna go back and compare from last week, go compare that boy right there from last week. You can see all of that big knob that's just getting bigger and bigger. That's going to be a lot of stuff grows out there. I'm talking a lot of stuff grows out there. Those are really, that's out 6 power right there. I'm zoomed in close on him. Now you can't really tell there, but he's going to have a lot. I mean, he's going to have a lot. This deer will probably score over 200 inches, which is an extremely good trophy buck. You can see he's a big, fat, pretty, and healthy. They have demand food. They have Southwest deer food in here. They got the grasses growing pretty good since there's only 2 deer in this particular. These 2 bucks is all in here. I don't have any does in here with them at all. But you can see how beautiful that deer really is, and how big his horns are going to be, and how much he's put on from last week. This deer has put on a lot from last week. I mean a lot from last week. And we're going to take a look at Cyclops and Bubba over there, and you'll see. Look how close this guy's got to me. He's really, really close to me there. Now they're going to turn and run up there at the other end. And I'll walk on up here. We won't look at them too much longer. I don't want to make these videos too awful long. I just want to make sure we watch these antlers grow and watch them week after week. You can go back and look at last week's video, compare it to this week's video. Go back and look at 2 weeks ago, compare it. It is amazing. I mean, this is a wonder of God, how they make these antlers grow so rapidly, and yet they fall off. They fall off in the wintertime. At the end of the winter, they fall off. Look at that guy there. That is absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. This guy over here. These deer are not really real wild, but they're not super tame either. And they certainly don't want me. They certainly don't want me getting them around in the corner. But you can see how big he is. He is just really huge. And those knobs, those brow tines are going to split. Those are 2 in the middle are called brow tines. They're going to split. Those knobs out on the end are going to have lots of what we call trash. Lots of trash on them. And those are 2 big, pretty boys right there. Bazooka and Whitey. Let's go look at Cyclops. Okay, and here we have Cyclops. Let me back off of that on him. Come here, Cyclops. Come here, buddy. This is my buddy right here. I meant to bring an apple or something for him to eat because he's really become my buddy. Come here, Cyclops. There you go, buddy. How about some sugar? Looky there. Looky there at Cyclops. Now we get a really good close look at Cyclops horns. I'm gonna back this thing all the way off. We don't need any zoom on this. You can see his horns. Now this is one that looks like his left horn, you know, on the right you're looking at right there was going to be a whole lot smaller than last year, but because it was injured and it was a really bad horn. But now it's actually, he's just loving me to death. Just loving me to death. I can feel his teeth in there. You got to be kind of careful there. I don't want him to bite me. But you can see he's going to have quite a bit too, and it looks like both sides are going to be relatively the same. It looks like the right side might be a little bit bigger, but now we thought that his horns may not grow back. We just knew they would, or they wouldn't. And look at him, look at him. Don't be wanting to chew on that finger. If you gotta be careful. They love to lick you, but they can get in there, and now he's become a real friend, a real buddy. Look at that. Get up there. Now that's really neat. The Cyclops is going to be a big deer too. We don't know how big his horns are going to be, but he will probably be in excess of a 200 score deer, maybe up close to the 3 mark if both sides continue to grow. We don't know that that's going to happen or not, It looks like I said, well, Jimmy, that's just a big 4-point. Trust me, those are going to get quite a bit bigger than that. Particularly that one as you're looking at on the left side, his right side. And you can see what he looks like right there. And I'm anxious for the garden to get growing. We'll bring him stuff out of the garden. We'll bring all these deer stuff out of the garden. Cucumbers and squash, and chop them up with a machete, and they love to eat them. So we feed them quite a bit of that. During that time of the year, we got garden stuff. But he's my buddy. Looky there. He's my buddy. Yeah, he's my buddy. They like that. Look at that. He loves to have their head scratched. Now, you don't want to be doing that right there when they're in the rut in the fall. Or this guy might get after you, and he could hurt you. He's a big deer. He could hurt you. But we're going to be a lot more careful in the fall. We're going to watch them grow. We're going to watch them grow all summer and watch them when they get their antlers off. We got big post in here for them to rub on to get their antlers off. We hope that none of them die during the hot summertime. Going to be putting humeric acid down. I got a pallet of it on order. Going to be putting some humeric acid down on the ground to keep the ground, all the parasites killed and everything, and make it real healthy for them. Hopefully make the summer with these guys. That's my buddy. That's my buddy right there. These guys have got a great life. They've got a great life. Look at him. All righty. I don't know where the little baby deer is. I don't see the little baby around. I'll just look around. That fat doe. That doe is so huge. Oh, there's my little baby right over there. Let's take a look at the little baby. Look at it. Look at it. Look at it. Oh, my goodness. They are just so precious. You can see why coyotes and bobcats and stuff catch them. I mean, even though he's pretty fast right now, there's just no way he can defend. Oh, it's a little girl. No way she can defend herself. See, she's trying to stay out of the way. They sometimes get run over by the big deer and get knocked for a loop. But you can just see she's just beautiful in the face. You get up close to her, and she's just absolutely beautiful. She's gorgeous. Now, I'm hoping those other two does. One of those does is a yearling. The smallest doe. It may or may not be bred. If it is, you don't have a real good percentage of success with yearling does. But that doe may or may not be bred. Some of them might make it, but really only about 35% of the fawns born to yearling does will actually make it. So it's kind of sad. But you can see the little girl fawn there. But they get very fast in a hurry. Get really, really fast. That's not her mama. The big one's not her mama. The middle deer, the red tag, which is a deer that was born here in the pen. So that's a pure Oklahoma deer of Iowa DNA. The middle-sized one, that's her mama prancing around her right there. And she says, I'd drink milk out of any of these girls. It looks like a big milk store to me. But isn't she beautiful? Ah, she's just a beautiful, beautiful little baby deer. I mean, a beautiful, beautiful little baby deer. Look how big that doe is. Look at her belly. Oh, my goodness, what a doe. Let's go look at Bubba. Okay, guys and girls, this is what we have been waiting for. The visit with Bubba. And there is Bubba right there. Bubba's a 300-pound Iowa buck. And will you look to what he's put on since last week? This is week number 3, I believe, if I got my weeks right. It is, I know I have the date right, it's May 27. And this is Bubba. I'm gonna walk just a little bit toward Bubba and see if I can hold the camera as steady as I possibly can. Bubba will not let you get too close to him. And of course, later in the year, I definitely don't want to be too close to him. He's pretty wild, but will you look at what he's got going on? Now, you look at those other deer and you figure that Whitey and Bazooka are going to be deer in the 200 plus class, maybe 250 class. You look at him, and he's another one that had bad antlers on one side last year, and that's exactly how I got ownership of the deer, basically half ownership of the deer. This deer was bred from a $20,000 semen straw. What we mean about that is they go in and they take semen from a champion, a great big huge giant high-class buck, and a straw semen will breed 3 does, artificial insemination, AI they call it. And not only was did he come out of a $20,000 straw from his mama, the doe that was artificially inseminated, but and his buck, daddy's buck was a $20,000 straw. His granddad, same. So he's out of 2 $20,000. So that is a really, really classy high dollar buck right here. And you can see exactly what has been produced. I mean, he is absolutely huge. absolutely huge. And I don't know how long he's going to stay down there in that corner. I'd like to get him up a little closer to me, but if you'll look at how big everything is there, and keep in mind how big these other deer that we've looked at, Bazooka and Whitey, and also looked at, now he's going to run by us here. Look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that. I mean, it's absolutely incredible. We're not going to be able to get really, really close to that deer. I got my iPhone on 6 power. See that big drop going out to the side? See that big drop going out to the side? I'm doing my best out here, trying to stay with him. Where'd he go? Oh, there he is, way over there. Trying to stay with him. Here he comes back again. But you can see, and I don't want him to run very much. It was a really warm day today. Storms in the area all around. But you can just see what a great giant buck he is. And he will probably be, I mean, I don't know. I mean, the deer could be 350 score, 400 score. I don't really know. I mean, I'm not an expert on these really high-class deer like this. Very fortunate to be friends with some people that have allowed me to have this buck right here, and the only reason because he was injured, and one side, that right side, I believe it was messed up, and they thought it would never grow back, and but it's growing back really, really well. I mean, look at him. Look at that big drop going out on that one side, and that's going to have several points out on it. This deer is going to score incredibly well. He's going to be so much fun to watch as he goes on. This is just week number 3. Week number 3. It wasn't very long ago Lowe's Horn started. So that's just exactly how miraculous this really is when you watch these deers grow. But Bubba is just going to be, just going to be super. He's impressive right now. I mean, it's just amazing how much he's adding every single week. And keep in mind that he won't be full big and as big as he's going to go until, I don't know, June or July. I mean, before he has his full horns. And he's going to have a lot of them. He's going to look just so awesome in velvet. And look at all that. Look at all that. I mean, you can see right now, and those big blobs are going to split out into several more. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, my goodness. My goodness. My goodness. What an incredible specimen of a white-tailed deer that is. And obviously he's going to be non-typical, but a really, really huge 300-pound deer. And you see that one side is bigger. It's his right side. Our left side, as we're looking at him, is quite a bit larger. But that other side is going to be very, very impressive also. We don't know how big he's going to be, but he's going to be really big. Keep in mind that we're going to follow these guys all the way through until they shed their horns. Now, once we get down to the fall, they're going to get so big, they're not going to get any bigger. And we might video them once a week or something, just in here messing around with the does. But then we'll have his sheds to look at. We'll have the sheds of all 4 of these, assuming they make it all the way through the summer and everything. And we'll have the sheds irrespective, but hopefully these 4 deer will be able to keep them all alive. But anyway, that's Bubba right there, and he is just oh my gosh, what can I say? He's awesome. He's awesome. A beautiful, beautiful deer. Very, very nervous with me in here with him. Hiding behind that feeder. He gets all he wants to eat. These deer are all on demand food, so they have all the food and nourishment that they want. Big, beautiful, healthy deer. And we'll look around in these 2 pens, make sure we hadn't had any babies born in just the last little bit. Look at that. Look at him. Look at him. Look at that big drop coming out on his left side. And it's going to have a lot of junk on it, as they say. A beauty. Okay, guys and gals, that's this week's episode of Watching Deer Antlers Grow. I'm telling you what, this is a fun deal for me to do. I promise you. It's just amazing how much Bubba is adding. Bubba is just like, oh, it's like exploding. He's blowing up is what they call it. And the other deer, you know, the one deer that's not really adding as much as I thought it would be Cyclops. Cyclops is older than Whitey bazooka, but he's not adding as much. And he's got one side that was bad and one side that was good. Both Bubba and Cyclops has got that. So it's going to be interesting to see if he catches up. Now, he was the last one to shed his horns. So he shed his horns way later than the other deer. So he may just be behind in going back, and he may catch up. It's going to be interesting to watch this go. You can go back and look at what they did last week. You look at Bubba from last week, look at Bubba from 2 weeks ago. It is amazing. If you've got friends that love to deer hunt, if you've got friends that love deer, that love horns and antlers, are kind of hooked on horns, I'm going to tell you, you need to call them up, have them subscribe to Jimmy Houston Outdoors YouTube, because this is going to be an interesting feature that we do every Thursday night. Tomorrow night, we're going to be checking on Lucy's private herd. Lucy's herd, that's right. Going to look and see what those little deer are doing this week. And I don't know where Ranger is. Ranger's missing, but I think he's okay.